Hey Dustin. I thought it would be easier to make a video versus writing up a PDF document because in a video I can kind of explain and walk through some of the things I'm looking at. The thing that's going to take the most time will be the engineering drawings and files related to drawings because there are a number of different parts. I just want to walk through with you. So what I try to do is choose materials from this website called Bunnings, which I believe I looked up, where do you buy timber most likely in Australia? And I tried to follow the sizing for different timbers from here. Being that I'm in the US, I was only familiar with US sizes like 2x4s, 2x6, 2x8, but I worked on the design and I chose material that was available in your area. For hardware pieces, I generally use McMaster-Carr to find my standardized parts. I made sure to pull only metric stuff, and I normally work in metric, so that was no issue. So the hardware is all standard metric metric sizes. I want to give you a glimpse as to what I put over or what I put together. Generally, the modeling is the more quicker part, and then the detailed drawings will take the more of the time. This is to give you the opportunity to kind of fire back and say, hey, I would like to see this different, I would like to see that different, but I'll give you an idea. So the piece I have put together is composed of 3 different parts, and I think what we'll do is we'll start from the base and then work our way up to the top. So starting from the base, which is the frame assembly, let me just open that up. This is composed of standard lumber sizes, so this is a 35 millimeter by 140 millimeter, or no, 90 millimeter, by 90 millimeter, and it's got a single hole drilled in it here. It also has some curvature cut out in this area here. This could be done, you had mentioned you were looking to get the part CNC'd, so this could be done on a CNC table router, and you would get these nice curves. If you prefer that it be done with, say, a jigsaw, then I would just get rid of some of these curves and have it be sharp cuts there. These both are identical parts, so 2 of those. The side pieces are made also from a standardized lumber. Let's see, this was 45 by 140, I believe it was. The important thing about this is I have a 5-degree angle here. This gives the entire assembly a 5-degree downslope so that water can run out the front. And you'll have to excuse me, I've never actually looked into gold mining operations, so some of I might call different things the wrong name. These cuts here at the side are just for aesthetic appearance. They're actually optional, but this is what comprises of the base. And of course, I probably need to come in and add screws into here and choose the wood screws that are appropriate for this location. So that's still left to do. Let's move up to this part, which is the main body. All right, so the main body, it's comprised of roughly these pieces. I'll just open up one of the side panels first to start. The side panels are mirror images of one another, so 2 different parts. Essentially what we have is a routing cut here. You'll notice that it has this weird curve, that's because the router bit won't be able to do a 90-degree angle, so I have to cut it out this way. And I set a 3mm depth. The reason I did this was because for someone to assemble it, it will be very straightforward. They'll know, oh, I just put the board in here, and also these drilled pilot holes give them the option to, just simply put a screw and a bit through. So I thought that adding this extra level of detail would be good in helping people know where to place the board at versus trying to eyeball it. Then moving on, we have this cut coming down in this direction. This is for the water to travel towards the rear, so it's going to have a piece of plywood that slides in here. That'll give its direction towards the back of the piece. I set the angle on this to be at 20 degrees, and if you were to account for the fact that this thing's going to be tilted 5 degrees forward, we're actually working off a 15-degree slope. So that is at a 15-degree slope relative to the ground. I then have these cutouts here, which can be CNC routed out, and once again, this is to help the user know where to place something before screwing it in. Same with these different parts here. Helps them identify where to place the parts to screw it in at. Alright, so let's exit this one. Yeah, keep. Okay. So yeah, these parts here are all identical. They have pilot holes drilled in them. So this will help the user more easily assemble the unit. And being that we have in the routed cutouts there, they'll be able to just stick it in, put the screws through, no issue. So this is what the Grizzly box will sit on. The Grizzly box is supported by 3 of these supports around the sides. I think that's pretty straightforward. I won't mention anything else about that one. These blocks I will talk about in just a moment when we get to more of the upper level assembly. There are 3 screws going through, and these are wood screws. These are 30mm long wood screws. Those are going through, and they are attaching these blocks. And these blocks are made from 35mm framing timber. They have a hole drilled through them. They do have some curvatures to them, so this would be something that could be CNC routed out, is my thought. Also, this bottom base plate, once again, it has, because the distance between here and here is kind of critical for mating up with the other part, I have once again added these this 10mm cutout so that the user could easily slide it in and screw it in from the top. And if we just open this, let me make sure there's pilot holes. Yeah, there are pilot holes. So they would simply just put the block underneath and then screw through. All right. What else is there to talk about here? A number of different, this outside parts are made from an 18mm pine plank. I found it on the website I had mentioned earlier. This bottom base pieces are a little thicker because I wanted the screws to come through but not be weak on a small section. So these are a little bit thicker at 26mm thick. Let's see if I can, well, I don't have it up right now, but I did find it on the website. All right, so let's move along from this one. Okay, let's go up to the Grizzly box before we go to the top level. So let's see, Grizzly box. Okay, the Grizzly box is going to be finish nailed. Um, it is a very basic assembly. Um, I chose to use wood on the filter. This could obviously be modified to be a sheet metal piece, but I thought since everything else is made of timber, why not continue that trend and cut out these holes in the bottom. The box, um, yeah, it's nailed here. And I really should talk for a moment about what the dimensions are on all these things. Um, this Grizzly box is 312 millimeters by 204 millimeters. Um, the holes inside are at a 12 millimeter hole size. Obviously, easily can be changed. Um, these are just areas for the user to be able to place their hands and easily pull it in and out. Down here, there would be nails around this area. I guess we could, if you wanted, put screws and pilot holes there as well. If that's something you desire, just let me know. Let's go back up to the top and talk about the dimensions here because I think that's probably really critical. So you said it should be somewhere in the 12-inch by 24-inch range. Right now, the width here is 315 on this. The width on the floor base is 596. The length on this is 610. And the length on the floor base is roughly the same, 610. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the top level assembly. Um, this is a mat, which I'm not sure the thickness of, but I approximated to be approximately 6 millimeters thick with ridges in it. So this is like, this is that. I then have this off the shelf 9.5 by 9.5 millimeter wood post. And what you see here is once the user installs this, they'll be able to put these wedges in, which pushes this down, and it serves two purposes. One is to hold the mat in place so the mat does not come loose. The other, obviously, is in the pictures you sent, they have these slats to help catch the gold. So that is that. Um, then this piece, which I think is called the apron. I'm not really sure, but let's take a cross-sectional view of that. So this is apron is made from 6 or 7 millimeter ply, and it slides down into that slot I previously mentioned. The user would easily be able to grab it and pull it out or put it back in. It cannot go all the way back. It stops at this piece here, which allows obviously the water and material to travel around this direction. But yeah, the user should be, and I was thinking that this carpet piece, maybe it's glued onto this plywood. That's just what I was thinking. Might be what it is. Obviously, the padding does not go all the way inside because then it would be hard for the user to slide in and out. It just goes up to this point here. Um, If you wanted it to go all the way to the edge, it could. We would just need to modify the slot, and maybe I would need to understand how thick this truly is in real life, because I approximated it 6 millimeter thick. Um, all right, let's talk for a minute about the rocking action. Um, so let me take a section cut really quick. Okay, if this thing loads, good. All right, step number one when installing it is to put this bolt with a washer and then a washer and a nut. And you're going to fasten this piece tightly. So this is the only piece that's fastened very tightly. After that, you're going to have a washer, your base frame, your frame base, and then another washer, and then a nut. Now, here's the key point. I modeled in a little bit of a space in here. This nut right here is not super tight. It's hand tight. And then the user will put on the lock nut, which will jam these two and make them fixed. What this allows for is this is not clamped, so it's able to pivot, but this lock and nut prevent the nut from falling off. If I were to just have a wing nut on here loosely tightened, well then after some rocking action it will probably find its way and fall off. By applying this double, I prevent that. So yeah, that's that, and then I'll just show you its ability to rock, you know, rocks from side to side like this. I'm not sure if you're interested in the angle, but the angle of rock is approximately 20 degrees back and forth. You can see here, so it seems to rock nicely like this. So let's see, you'd probably want to include extra wedges in the kit because I feel like there's a potential for the user to lose them. Let's see, what else is there? I guess at this point I'm just looking to hear back from you as to what you think. And then obviously after we're good on the modeling aspect, we would move into the more time consuming part, which is the drawings. So, all right, that's all I had. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for the job. I appreciate it.